stars, and that's who we are. We are voices. There's nothing to fear. Explode in your rear. Feel our voices.
You got me so hot with all that whipping noise. I got all hot and had to blow up.
Oh, I know how to do it.
You know how to work me. You know how to get me to blow up.
Whipped it real good.
No diggity.
No diggity. That song kicks
No
ass.
doubt.
Dude, if you hear that song today, it still rocks.
Yeah, it does.
It rocks so hard.
work it? No diggity.
Mm-hmm.
That was really the only hit that they had too, wasn't it? Like, I mean, like they were still popular in the R&B charts. But like, you know, like that was like, what was their name? Blackstreet, was that it?
Blackstreet.
Yeah, and like that was their crossover hit that like hit MTV and everything, and then they just kind of faded back into the R&B charts, and you never heard of them in mainstream again.
Yep, and it was almost like 3T. Tony, Tony, Tony. That song is so damn good.
Tony, Tony, Tony. I mean, I got that album with the hit song. But just musically, it's not like they had the hit song and then they did like 3 versions of that hit song and then the ballad that they're contractually obligated to do.
Right.
It's like solid. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Raphael Saadiq of Tony, Tony, Tony. He's been doing his own thing since then. This is way too musically nerdy, but I'm just saying he just did an album. It's very like late 60s, early 70s sounding. It's like really like old soul, and it is fantastic. That guy is just skills. Like I'm pretty sure he wrote and performed the whole thing. Nice. I'll see if I can get you guys a copy.
Oh, hook him brother!
But it's really awesome. So.
And burn me some 3T while you're at it.
Some what?
And burn me some 3T while you're at it.
Yeah. If I had no loot, right?
Right.
Had no loot. That's what I know.
Okay, this show has a direction. Let's go in it.
Oh my God! Let's go. We're already there.
Damn, Ed, you're like this is the perfect segue for you, as a matter of fact.
Actually, it is.
Oh, kind of, yeah, man. Because everybody was throwing down. You know, we're all like mostly nerdy guys as Vorons. Ladies, please step forward. Veronica is watching tonight. Hello, Veronica.
Hey, Veronica.
Happy birthday. Give her a belated birthday kiss.
If I could show some thigh, I totally would.
Oh, she'd like that, believe me.
Not that as I'm kidding.
She really loves white flesh. White. But yeah, so that's what I was kind of struggling with. Was like, we talked about RepubliComm and Buckaroo Banzai, all these like sci-fi and action guy movies, but God, there's so much that came out of this decade. So to me, one of the most important movies and impactful and stylistic, and the best movie that the director Spike Lee had ever done, in my opinion, Do the Right Thing, 1989. 20 years. Just about 20 years after the civil rights, the civil rights bills were passed, and the nation is still healing, and it wasn't really addressed head on, but there were still incidents that were flaring up all through the 80s that were just very clearly racist, societal shit, just horrible things, race riots, burnings, beatings, and this was a movie that just it put it head on. It did it with style. It opened up the discussion in an intelligent way through the storytelling. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend it. It's totally entertaining. It's got an amazing cast. So I believe that's on Netflix too. I could be wrong about all these things, but not my problem. I've seen it.
And it was also nice to see like a film about race relations and stuff that wasn't set in the South, because up until that point, like a lot of it was like in the heat of the night and Mississippi burning. I mean, it was a lot of that stuff. Like there was like the South
Yeah.
was always the focus during the civil rights,
Right.
But,
This is Brooklyn.
Yeah, this is like the Northeast. This is where like this stuff was supposed to never be going on to begin with.
Yeah, and
But
it didn't come
it
off as
was.
preachy. Is the
Yeah.
other thing.
And it was like that mainstream success for Spike Lee. It was kind of like his Clerks, It's like it was a low budget movie that just busted him out.
Absolutely.
And I personally feel as though it gave way to a lot of like-minded thinking. A lot came out after that had that vibe. It also was stylish. The film was stylish, and it suddenly, after that film kind of took hold, it was really set in, and you could see that it had made an effect on the people around them.
Yeah.
Like we can look back. I mean, and you look at it in style. Like it had a look that is very, very distinct. And we can go back. We were talking about David Chappelle earlier, and when he was talking about himself in the 90s, in the late 80s, he was wearing outfits that the kids were wearing in that film, and it all looked that way. It's very, very, very stylish, and it made a good point. And it just went to prove that we are just as stupid today as we were 20 years ago, as we were 60 years ago, especially with the legislation that looks like it wasn't blown out with regard, I think it's in Arizona, with regards to restaurants don't have to serve homosexuals.
Yeah.
We're just as lost and fucked as we have ever been, and that film that is a symbol of that, is the feeling that we should have now.
Right, and I'm sure that is going to happen because there's all sorts of things. These big changes happen as the years go on. You become complacent, I think.
Right.
So the civil rights struggle, that was your parents' problem. It was your grandparents' problem, and people kind of complain that we're not going to get past it if we just keep bringing it up. But there's a reason, and it's stuff that you just talked about. Gay rights, same issue. Voting rights. Who'd have thought that in 2014 voting rights would even be an issue? But people are trying to undermine the system for their own gain by pulling bullshit to keep people from voting in America?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Even something even more insulting, I think, is like in New York City, possibly one of the most progressive, quote-unquote, progressive cities in America, they were doing the stop and frisk that clearly targeted African Americans, and a lot of white people, it was like, well, civil rights movement's over. And it's like, no, there's still a lot of injustice going on, and it's like people of different races, people of different sexualities and everything like that, it's still going on, it's just, it's not as defined, and it's not as clear as it used to be. But sometimes, like you said, like the legislation that just passed and stuff like that, sometimes it'll pop up and say like, "Hey, I'm still here." It's like, but then, but most of the time, it's like racism and bigotry in this country has gotten a lot. It hasn't gone away. It's just gotten smarter.
I guess so, yeah.
It's much more. It's much more nefarious, and I think that's why. General Grievous actually was a very, very good, iconic character for the Star Wars trilogy, because we really need a face to stupid evil that does exist, and I'm so glad you brought this film up, because it still matters even today, and this goes out to everyone. If there's any level of intolerance out there that any one of you witnesses, do what you can to make it known that it isn't correct, and that you must do something that makes a point, and right then, just don't turn a blind eye, and that's what this film did not do, and in some small ways it made things change, and hopefully one day we'll be as progressive maybe as a European country.
Even that's a whole.
But I was going to say,
hour.
Even some.
I know. What the hell? What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, but quick bullet point. Also, amazing soundtrack. Public Enemy. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So Carl, one that's close to my heart.
I'm switching these around, so give me a moment here. Originally it was going to be Police Academy, but no. I wanted to pick a John Carpenter movie, because for me, John Carpenter is iconic to the late 70s and 80s. And I didn't want to go because there's already people saying Big Trouble in Little China. There's people doing They Live. There's plenty of them out there. But the one that I think is like the crown jewel of his whole entire career is Starman.
Nice.
With, Jeff Bridges and Karen
Allen.
Karen Allen from Indiana Jones. So it's not a typical John Carpenter movie. I've talked about before on different various shows.
What's the Cliff's Notes?
It's a woman whose husband died shortly before the movie starts, and then an alien comes to visit Earth. He's like an advanced like explorer. He's supposed to check out Earth and everything, and to explore it better, he ends up taking on the shape of a human, and he takes on the shape of her dead husband. So
yeah,
and
that's the start.
And it's an exploration of humanity and society of that time, and it was just brilliant. And Jeff Bridges got nominated for Academy Award Best Actor. Didn't win, but
awesome.
It's a great movie. Check it out. If you check out any John Carpenter movie, I say check that one out.
Yeah, amen. I made my ex-girlfriend watch it, and she's like, I would never watch this if I didn't know this just looks like sci-fi crap. But she's like, no, this, it's got a heart. It's got a serious heart.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah. And Bridges lets go of himself. Like, there's no sense of cool about his performance. Like, he's like, I'm going to do this. You know how when you can just let go of yourself and just, you don't care what people think? Mm-hmm. He does that.
He comes.
You watch it, you're like, oh my God, that's so awkward and weird, but he just did it. He's so just beautiful.
An alien. He just seems like a foreign person on a planet. Like, he's just a blank slate, just absorbing and like reflecting what's around him. It's beautiful. It's a great movie.
It's like an intelligent baby.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
his actions, his speech, the way he interacts with people, it's fantastic. So yeah, absolutely.
Carl, I love you. I want to hug you for bringing that.
Yay!
Oh, man.
You are hugs. So Mike's gonna cap that off.
I'm gonna bring it on down to Stupidville.
No, but it's we just had pillow talk, and I was gonna stand up and bring out the belt.
I'm gonna hang out my wang.
Wait a minute, but we were just pillow talking, sweet nothing. What are you doing?
I'm gonna shut up, bitch.
I'm gonna pee on you. I'm sorry.
And we have to. It's an important film because it really did change shit. Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say any of them, but really, I think it was the first to the second where it really happened. And Nightmare on Elm Street, you had just a very, very seriously scary film where it became aware of all of its little hooks and grabbers, and suddenly you've got Freddy Krueger, bitch. I'm going to kill you, bitch. Lights out, bitch. Mm-hmm. Every 5 seconds was a cliche. The character was no longer scary. The antagonist becomes the hero of the film. Metal soundtracks here and there. It's such a important film to the 80s. Like, come on, like that movie went along with heavy metal. Like, if you were a fan of Slaughter or Steelheart or any of those bands, like, you could have heard. I think that the Goo Goo Dolls was on one of the soundtracks when they were a metal band. So, so when I say metal, I use that quote unquote fingers, bunny ears. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, definitely iconic, definitely 80s, changed shit. As a result, we no longer have scary movies. So,
yeah. Well, unfortunately, we had Scary Movie. Which is basically took everything that we learned from Freddy Krueger onward and was like, well, here's how it works. And it was a good movie, but it's like, oh, well, it's not scary anymore.
Well, I mean,
it's hard to get scared.
It got to the point that Freddy ended up even getting his own TV show, Freddy's Nightmares. Remember that?
Yes.
And he actually became a late night schlock horror host, sort of. Like, it was like an anthology sort of thing, like a lot of those movies, like the shows where they had like Tales from the Crypt sort of thing.
Tales from the Crypt, yeah.
Or Elvira.
Yeah, or it's
wow.
And he was totally Elvira. He would do like the schlocky intro and everything, like, well, I've got a scary tale for you tonight. And you're just like, you're not scary anymore, Freddy. And this is just schlock now. So.
But by that time, he wasn't scary,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to see the degradation of that whole character. Which I think it really makes Wes Craven's New Nightmare even better because of all that. So.
Okay. However, what it did for Spencer's, paramount.
Oh, word. Absolutely. I got a story about that, but I won't.
We are at the end of our segment. Oh, but you keep talking.
No, I can't. We're out of time.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it in the in the gutter so we can put it in the best of.
Sweet.
VOR behind the scenes, exclusive DVD bonus footage. Something.
Deep cuts.
No, we need a fan club. We'll have a fan club, and then we'll have a pay to play.
Yes.
The dirt. Well, cool. No, that's it for us for today. Tomorrow we're going to get into RepubliComs, where we hear from you about your recommendations for the best to come out of the 80s, the must-see movies. And don't forget, in case you're tuning out, you don't want to hear what other people have to say. That's fine. You can tell us about next week's show, which is Ask the Experts. Ask us any question, any field, any level in intelligence or skill or vocation. VORradio.com has all our contact info. Drop us a line. So until tomorrow, this is Ed saying, may the force.
And this is Mike saying, be with.
And this is Carl saying, that ass.
That was perfect, that ass. This is Carl just saying that ass.
Love it.